to see you all again. Jacob asked me to write a story and to read it to you, so here it goes. I'm an author, not really someone who reads stories that much out loud for people to hear, so excuse if I make slip-ups here and there, but here it goes. What choice did I have? Why were my options limited and not of my own making? How did it happen, and how did it go so very wrong? Ah, but a few questions I have as I'm sitting here with my hands in my hair, tears running down my cheeks, as I'm sitting on this ledge, steadying myself to take a step over the edge and end this. Never did I think I would ever find myself trying to end my life. I met Mary when we were only 5 years old. She transferred to my school and we became best friends. She was always there for me, but as we grew up, I was the popular one, and Mary not so. We were still friends, but only on certain occasions. After graduation, I got a summer job as a stepping stone for my career path. I was out to lunch and ran into Mary. She was job hunting. The duckling turned into a swan. I hardly recognized her. I knew that we were short-staffed at work and said I would put in a word for her. A few days later, we were working together. One of my hobbies was collecting limited edition Beanie Babies. It started when I was 7 years old, when my dad brought me a Beanie Baby from a work trip. I was bidding on a #1 red bear. That was a gift from the tie company to their sales representatives. These bears did not come around that often and was valued at $1,000 to $1,500. I sat at my workstation with my phone glued to my hand, watching the eBay timer countdown. Everyone in the office knew not to bother me till the bid war was over. I was the highest bidder and also under the estimated valued price. It was a great deal. I had my fingers crossed and watched those seconds count down. Just when I thought I had it, I lost it. I was moping around the office the rest of the day. Mary and I went out for drinks as she tried to cheer me up in the evening. A few days later, I got to my workstation to find the little red #1 bear waiting for me with a thank you for getting me the job card attached. Love, Mary. It was a wonderful gift, but it was expensive. I lost the bid at $7.50. That means Mary paid more. I went to thank her and knew I could not keep this, but she insisted, and I did not have the strength to fight her any further on this. This was just the start of many gifts I got from Mary, and one more extravagant than the other. I felt so guilty. Every cent she earned felt like it was spent on me. I was offered a permanent position, but this was not part of my plan. I wanted to go to college to study full-time, but decided to study part-time instead and took the job offer. Everyone knew that Mary was my friend. And one day, one of the office girls said she could not understand how I could be friends with such a controlling person. I told her she was wrong. Mary was a wonderful person. As time passed, Mary got a few promotions and moved up in rank. She was not the sharpest tool in the shed, but she was doing something right. Our staff was changing all the time. No one stayed longer than a few months. I felt like furniture, as I was one of the few that stayed on. Mary became my boss, and that was fine. She gave me more freedom to write my own stories. One day I ran into an old friend from the paper, and she could not believe I still worked there. She had the most horrible experience with Mary. I could not believe all the things she told me about Mary. Mary ruined her marriage and got her fired for stealing from the paper. Mary was calling her husband and telling him that she was cheating on him with the boss. Petty cash was also disappearing, and she was accused of taking it. She was sure Mary was taking it, but could not prove it. Mary was not who I thought she was. Mary got her job So, as a journalist, I started paying more attention to Mary and her doings. I was incognito. Arriving to work one sunny morning, I found sitting on my desk something I never thought I would see in real life. The Princess Beanie Bear, priced at $500,000. I nearly died. The card read, "To my best friend forever, Mary." This was the price of the house and a huge investment. It just blew my mind. Mary was so nice, but it did get me wondering more about the reasons behind the gifts. Mary was maid chief. She never wrote a single story. She started out as a receptionist. How did she get to be chief? I had to find out. I was on a secret assignment. I went to interview some of my old colleagues and was astounded at what I found. Alice was our receptionist. That went on maternity leave when Mary started working for us. After returning to work, she found everything a mess. Receipts were missing and appointments were made that weren't written down. Orders that were either way too short or so much was ordered that there was no place to put it. Mary was not able to do her job, and Alice took weeks to get everything back in order. She confronted Mary, and that was a mistake. Mary shut her out of the computer system and made changes to rotas and schedule, getting Alice into a lot of trouble. Alice seemed incompetent and was let go from a job she was doing for years. The big boss said that being a mother was getting in the way of her duties, and she must be suffering from depression, and her work was suffering. Mary became a permanent staff member. John was our assignment editor. He was near retirement when Mary came after him. Oh, sorry. A sneeze. And, alright, sorry. John was our assignment editor. He was near retirement when Mary came after him. She seduced him in a whirlwind love affair started. He said it was burning hot, passionate, and fast. He would let Mary sit in on meetings so she could learn the tricks of the trade. She also became his personal secretary, so the two of them could even work closer together. She was very ambitious. He recommended her to be his successor, and the big boss was very happy to have someone hand-trained for the job. However, John lost his money in an investment and had to keep working, and the retirement option was no longer viable. This made Mary very angry, and she came after him with the same fire they used to share. She would talk him down to other staff members and would arrange meetings without him. She was shutting him out of his own job, taking over every aspect of his role, and undermined him every chance she got. He was having some health issues at the time, and it was getting worse. He was suffering from shortness of breath, clumsiness, and aggression. And one day, Mary made him so angry that he hit her out of sheer frustration, and he was fired. Mary got his job. Anyway, it probably did him good, as he thinks the job was making him ill. He was much better now that he was free from Mary and work. Sam was managing editor. Meeting up with Sam broke my heart. This man was a shadow of his former self. His eyes were drawn back into his head. He was skinny and frail. He used to be well built and would go to the gym all the time. In his spare time, he would train for triathlons. My heart would skip a few beats when he would pass by me in the office. Mary entered his life and was the perfect girl for him. She completed him in every aspect of his life, work, and at the gym and competitions. He worked hard at the gym and would not put anything artificial in his body. No steroids or anything like that. He got injured while out running one morning, and it caused a stress fracture in his foot. This meant he could not compete in an upcoming event. Mary was there for him and got him an all-natural supplement that would help with the healing of the fracture. After a few days, he felt better than before. It should have taken 4 to 12 weeks to be healed, but the supplement made all the difference in the world. He was doing so very well. Getting ready for the race, he had to take a drug test. This was nothing new to him, as it was done with most events. However, this was the first time he failed and could not participate. Mary got him to take drugs. He was furious with her and broke up with her, but it was too late. He became dependent on the drugs and is still now struggling to get free from its fearful grip. He lost his job due to his new habit, and Mary stepped in. Mary was now chief, so I had to speak to Bill Turner, the old chief. I could not find Bill anywhere. His wife said he took his boat out to go fishing after quitting his job, and she had not seen him in days. She was getting very worried. I had to confront Mary, as all these people's lives were ruined by her. Hopefully I could get some sense into her. Getting back to the office, Mary asked what I was working on. It was hard to avoid the question, as I never told a lie, but how could I tell her I was writing about her? I think she must have gone through my computer, as my desk was not how I normally left it. So I said I was writing on how she became so successful. I knew from that moment I had to watch my back. Mary was no longer my friend. She went through everything I wrote and made me redo a lot of my stories. I got a call from Bill's wife. She said his body was found on his boat and it looked like he was murdered. As I put the phone down, two policemen came and arrested me for the murder of Bill Turner. I was the prime suspect, as my fingerprints were all over the murder weapon. The knife that was used to stab and decapitate Bill was one of my kitchen knives, part of a set of knives that was a gift from Mary, a housewarming present. I loved cooking, and these were Watts-of chef knives, perfectly balanced, precision forged, and now a murder weapon. How could this have happened? I told the police detective everything and that Mary was responsible. I gave him my thumb drive and all the stories of the other employees. He took an interest, but in the meantime I was stuck behind bars. My lawyer managed to get me out on bail, and I could investigate myself. The more I found, the worse it looked for me. At work, it looked like Bill and I were working together selling drugs. I got greedy and killed Bill on his boat. Large sums of money were also transferred into my account. My life was over. I was going to spend the rest of my life in prison. I confronted Mary, and she just laughed at me, saying, "This is only the beginning." And things were going to get a lot worse from here on in.
So there we have that then. A great story. Really good example of our enemy at work, in a workplace. I just thank you, my wife Adele, for her contribution there. She's a real talented lady. So the characteristics of a J spirit would be that they refuse to admit guilt or that they're wrong in any way. They will take credit for everything that is good and right. They will use people to accomplish their agenda. They will withhold information, particularly if it is to give the information at a later stage themselves, so that they will receive the glory. They volunteer for many things, to have a finger in every pie, to get control. Lies, they are not shy to lie. They will ignore people. I'm sure you've had that in a situation where you standing in a group of people and somebody will come in and stand there, and then in a way then they will worm their way in and stand with their backs to you and facing the people to try and cut you off. They won't give credit, nor will they show gratitude. And if they do show gratitude or give credit, it is so that they would advance in the situation. They criticize everyone and anyone. They always need to be the center of attention and be in the limelight. So they will always want to be a figure of importance, like a manager or a director or somebody in a sports situation, want to be the captain, etc. They don't tolerate authority. Again, they will accept authority until they've had their way around it. They are very domineering. They will catch you unaware. If you're in a discussion and they know what's coming, they will prepare themselves to have information that you're not expecting. They will belittle people for their own advantage. They are vengeful. They will step on those in their control. So they will make you look bad in front of other people. They are know-alls. They always think they know everything. And then giving of gifts. That is another one. We've experienced these type of people in our lives, particularly a group of people or a couple that were of the same faith as we, but they wouldn't do certain things, but they showered us with gifts to the children, and it did work for a while. But fortunately Abba gave us the light, and I praise His mighty name for that. So we could withdraw from that situation. But Abba will protect those who guard His name and His word. And in Revelation 3, we read from verse 10 to 12, "Because you have guarded my word of endurance, I also shall guard you from the hour of trial, which shall come upon all the world, to try those who dwell on the earth. See, I am coming speedily. Hold what you have, that no one take your crown. He who overcomes, I shall make him a supporting post in the dwelling place of my Elohim, and he shall by no means go out. And I shall write on him the name of my Elohim, and the name of the city of my Elohim, the renewed Jerusalem, which comes down out of the heaven from my Elohim, and my renewed name." So we see here that Yahushua is saying that He will guard us in the hour of trial. And we who overcome, He will make us His supporting posts in the place of Elohim. Wonderful words. So that is a bit on the J spirit, the controlling spirit. If you're in a situation where are you with people, always look up to Abba for answers and for a way out. Again, I want to thank my wife for her little story that she wrote. A very talented lady. Perhaps I can use this opportunity to, if you are interested, my wife has found that there's so little for children and young people to read. So she wrote a book, perhaps for teenagers and older. Could be a little scary for little ones, but it is called The Curse, and it is an adventure story. It's a clean story. There's no swearing and horrible things that you will find in your everyday entertainment. It's called The Curse by Adele. So look it up online if you're interested in reading a story which is clean. And may Yahuwah bless you. Thank you for your time, And next time I think I will be working on proving our faith. Many people, there are many faiths out there, but really there's one that actually can be proven to be the truth. And that is what we believe in, our faith of the Nazarene. So yes, if you're interested, we will look at that. It might be a few sessions because it's a lot of information. Shalom from a little coffee and a lot of Yahuwah.